Yay, it's clay day! Such a fun day to work on using good craftsmanship with a new material. So let's get started. When you begin, you will need a ball of clay and a canvas clay mat. You will need to take care of all of your clay tools. One half will include tracers, pieces of fabric, and items to create texture, as well as paper towels. Then the other side will have your clay tools, your slip, your water cups, and other tools to create stamping texture into your clay. Just make sure that when you are done, you put everything back in nice and clean and where you found it. Once you have your ball of clay and your canvas mat, you will choose a texture like burlap or a lacy, doily type texture and start to pound out your clay to create a slab for your word collector art. You're just going to use your fist to spread the clay out evenly, and you want it to be about as thick as a cookie. You don't want it too thick because it will take too long to dry. You don't want it too thin because it could break. So you're going to try to evenly spread the clay out about as thin as a cookie. Then you will carefully lift up your clay to reveal the texture that you have created. You will then use a piece of cardboard or straight edge to cut out your clay in a rectangle or square shape, or if you have another idea for a shape, you can do that. So you will then just use a tool to cut that out very carefully. And then any extra clay that you have, you will ball up so that it does not dry out. Then you want to make sure that if you have any kind of sharp edges or your edges look a little bit goofy, take a little bit of water on your finger and smooth those edges out. Then your next step is going to be to add extra things to your word collector art. You could add a frame by making a coil, kind of like a little snake that you can roll out with a piece of leftover clay that you have. And then after you have created what you want to add to your word collector art, you will have to do something called scoring and slipping. When you score, you create a texture in your clay, and then the slip is like glue. So the glue that you use will hold the clay together. And this is one of the most important parts of creating something with clay, is making sure that things are attached so that they do not fall off. So you use a toothbrush to score and make a texture on your clay. So like I wanted to make a frame on my word collector art using these coils. Then I would also score whatever I am attaching onto my clay, and I'm trimming it to make sure it's the right size. And then I would need to press down and make sure that the clay coils attach to my clay base or my clay tile slab. Again, scoring both pieces, and then I need to press down to really attach the clay, and I can even use a clay tool to make sure that both pieces are connected and they become one. If they do not become one, when they dry and when they get fired, they will just break apart. So this part is very important. The scoring and slipping is like gluing your clay together. And whenever we glue, like with paper, we want to make sure that we press down and we push it down so that it's attached. Same thing with clay, otherwise it will just fall apart. Another thing you could do other than a coil is you could just draw on a frame, or you could press down into your tile to create a frame using different tools in your bins. Here I just pressed down so that part of it is down further, and then I needed to kind of trim off the edges to make them straight again after doing that. So that's something you could do. Then I would just use your finger to smooth out any sharp edges that you might have. And this is all however you want to frame your clay piece. So you don't have to do a coil, you don't have to press it down. Just think of how you want to make it your own. Here I am smoothing out the edges. And then the most important part of this project is your words. We have been learning about the word collector book and how important words are. So now you will get to choose a word or words that you would like to add to your clay project. Ooh, and before that, I'm even using some of my tools to create more designs on my frame, so you are welcome to do that. Once you are done with your designs of your frame, you are going to grab some letters that you can use as stamps. When you press them down into your clay, you want to make sure you press down far enough so that you can see your letter, and kind of press it evenly in the middle and on the edges. And then when I pick them up, I'm checking to make sure it printed. Ooh, and my R didn't quite work, so I'm going to press down again and make sure I get it. Try not to go too far into your clay, just enough so that you can read the letter. And then when you are done with these, you will put them back in the bin that you found them in, sorted out just how you got them. So now I'm going to add something else. I'm going to add just another little design. So I took a ball of clay, I pressed it flat, and I scored it with my toothbrush. I added texture, and now I'm adding slip, my glue, pressing down and connecting it, and I'm making it smooth with my fingers. Now I'm going to just draw another design in this to go along with my word collector art. Good luck creating your word collector tile art today, and just remember that anything you make, if you don't love it, you can always ball it back up, try again, smooth it out. That's the great thing about using clay, is you can always try again. So good luck, boys and girls.